Welcome back, you guys, to another beautiful day of deck profile. Today we're going to go over the deck known as Deeplands Reguregnus. I don't know how to say the name correctly. The name's all really fucked up, but we're just going to refer to it as Deeplands. Just like the thumbnail, the difficulty of this deck, I think it's personally 2 out of 5. It's not that hard. It's pretty linear. Cost wise, I gave it a 5-star because there are key cards that are really overpriced right now, and it is generics. Competitiveness, we'll put it as 5-star because I think it is currently like within top 3, if not top 5 in the current meta. And fun wise, I gave it 2 out of 5 because it's pretty boring. Once you get to see how the deck functions, you'll see why. I have listed here the timestamp of what portion of the deck I'm talking about, and you can click it to that timeline to, I don't know, enjoy the video. We'll go over the ride line. Ride line, we run the grade 0. Doesn't matter what grade 0 you run. I just put this Mythiarch one because it's prettier. The grade 1 Deeplands skill is when you get ridden over and top of a grade 2, you search the deck for the order that the deck revolves around with. Grade 2 skill is if you get ridden over by a grade 3, you look at top 7 cards, fish out 2 cards amongst them, and mill it. And grade 3. Oh, the grade 2 skill, it's kind of crucial. You target certain cards so your deck rotates better. The grade 3 skill, I'm going to blow it up in the screen here. Grade 3 X skill is once per turn, you energy blast 2, choose 1 card from your drop and call it to rear guard. Pretty simple. Second skill, at the end of the battle, this unit attack, you counter blast 1, retire 2 rear guards, choose up to 1 grade 3 with Reguregnus in its name that's different from this one from your drop and ride it as stand, and it gets -2 drive until end of the turn. When you will ride by this effect, the riding unit is placed with all the power increases and crit increases of the trigger effects this unit got this turn. So essentially it's a re-ride with ability to keep the crit stacking you applied to your Vanguard. For the grade 3s of the deck, obviously you got to ride 3 of the whatever's in your ride deck, the Deeplands OG. Then you got to run a playset of the superior ride that you would ride from the drop, and playset of the order the deck revolves around with. 2 copies of Reguregnus, the common card that got overpriced out, but I would wait because we probably are going to get a reprint as a promo. And last but not least, Fire Regalis. So let's go over the grade 3s right now. So Fire Regalis is there just so I can fish out cards I need, the key pieces if I'm missing anything. And also you can use both Fire Regalis and the deck's order at the same turn. Reguregnus is a common card that just got blown out of the water because of this deck. Essentially, whenever your grade 3 card hits the Vanguard circle, it could come out of the drop zone. So upon ride, call it out from the drop zone. Persona ride, call it out from the drop zone. Superior ride from the drop, call it out from the drop zone. At the end of the turn, ride back to the OG, ride from the drop zone. Called from the drop zone. So essentially, it's a free card. The order, you play a playset of it because it's kind of what makes the deck really work. Essentially, when you can play this from hand or drop, so it's a ride discard fodder or discard fodder. You play it by soul blasting 1, retire rear guard if you have a Vanguard with the whatever its name is called. Choose up to 2 cards from your drop that's grade is less than or equal to your Vanguard and call it to the rear guard circle. And your Vanguard gains additional 5k until end of the turn, and then perform one of the followings depending on the number of this order card in the order zone. If it's 0, you put one of them into the order zone. If there is a 1 already, then you combine this card, choose a card called Call of Deeplands, which is this card, and from your order zone, increase the power of the continuous ability by 5,000. So not the Vanguard getting the 5,000, but the second part skill is the one that gets increased by 5,000 if you play a second one. The second one ability is continuous skill, order zone. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your units with Deeplands in its card name that were placed from the drop zone by the ability of your card with the same card name as this card or your Vanguard's name increases by 5,000. So the 2 cards that you call out from this will gain additional 5k on top of the 5k you would have gotten if you run the second one. All right. Now the superior ride one. This is a really good card because it also is a guard value. Skill auto. When this unit is placed in a Vanguard circle by the ability of your Deeplands, Reguregnus, whatever it's called, Soul Blast 1, choose a Deeplands OG Reguregnus, whatever it's called, from the drop and call it to the rear guard. At the end of the turn, put that unit on Vanguard circle as rested, so you re-ride back into the OG. When this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit was placed by the drop this turn, this gets +1 drive. So even though it gives you -2 drive by superior rating from the drop, this gives it back 1 drive. And last but not least, continuous skill in the Guardian Circle. When this hits the Guardian Circle, for each grade of your Vanguard with Deeplands in its card name, this unit gains 5k. So during your grade 3 turn, this will be a 15k, grade 2, 10k, grade 1, 5k. So it's nice. And we already went over the OG, so there's no point of that. All right, moving on to the grade 2 right line. We go into the Deepland, the Shark Guy. For playset of that, 3 copies of the manga promo Deepland, 1 ace unit. And that's it. Ace unit is there just so you can search a deck and put it to the drop and choose a card from the drop that you need to call out, like a key piece cards. So that's important. This is the Stoichea version of Teeth Vault. So if you play an order this turn, it doesn't get called out by a unit's ability. Upon play, Soul Blast 1, get top 5, choose 1 and call 1. And also, what makes this card really good is actually the second ability. The second ability is when this unit attacks, you can Energy Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and until end of your opponent's next turn, that unit cannot intercept and cannot stand during stand phase. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this gains additional 5k. So it's a 15k beat stick. So in case of matchups against like Vigila, if there's Azawar on the field, you could stun it so they can't restand it nor intercept it. You get rid of their 15k guard value on board. All right, little shark man over here. He's kind of unique. Upon playing on Rearguard Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Deeplands in its card name, you can counter blast or put a card from the hand into the soul and draw a card. And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gains additional 5k. The reason I emphasize the or part is just so that you know it's either or. Do not do both. Second skill, if your Vanguard is a Deeplands Vanguard, this unit gains additional 5k guard value. And then now we move on to the grade 1s of the deck, aka the most expensive part of this fucking deck. So we run 4 Harvest Elves, 4 Phaelander, and 4 PGs. You don't really need the Elementaria. You could honestly play the 4th one in there right now. It doesn't really matter. So let's go over the 2 generic cards that are overpriced right now. Essentially, you got Phaelander and then Harvest Elf. Phaelander is there because you get to mill out your key pieces. On pawn play, you look at top 5, choose 1 card, send it to the drop zone. And then second skill is that this gains additional 10k if you have 10 or more cards in the soul. Not soul, in the drop. So ideally, you would use that to fish out, you know, the Teeth Vault 2.0 or Usurp Dragon or the order into the, not order. Yeah, you could actually search the order. Yeah, the order, and that way you get the key pieces you need to do combos. Harvest Elf, I mean, there's 2 skills to it, but you mainly focus the second skill. First skill is when this unit is placed on a rearguard from hand only. During your turn, other than the battle phase, you can Soul Blast 1 and call a plant token to the rearguard circle. You could use it to do early game rush, but often than not, you really don't need it because it's only a 5k booster when you're not a grade 3 until your opponent's grade is grade 3 or greater. That's the second skill. Second skill, continuous back row rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this gains additional 5k, so it becomes a 10k booster. Last skill is what makes it really important. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted, retire 2 rearguards in the same column as this unit and draw a card. Essentially, column, boost, at the end, kill both, draw 1 card. Alright, moving on to last but not least, the trigger lineup. We run, of course, Blessed Flavor, aka one of the best OTs in game. 3 fronts, 3 effect fronts, and then 8 crits, 2 effect heals, and 2 generic heals. Personally, I'm running the restand heals right now because a lot of the decks comes around with Vigila, Minerva. A lot of them are restanding, so that's why I put it in there for now. Alright, so in terms of Mulligan, what you keep focus should be are these cards. You could argue that you don't need to fish out for this one, but because you're going to guarantee one by going into grade 2. But having at least 1 in your hand and 1 in your drop helps with the consistency during your second grade 3 turn. But your primary focus, I guess, will be these 5 cards. Phaelander, I think, is like the most, like the must card because upon playing, you get to look at top 5 and mill 1. You want to have 1 of the Teeth Vault 2.0 just so when you call it from the drop with the order, you can proc its skill and spawn a whole board. Or Usurp, you need it because upon hitting grade 3, you keep fucking getting a call out for free. Harvest Elf is there just so that you can mill, sacrifice the entire column to draw a card, and you want to have at least one of these in the drop zone so that you can Superior Ride from the drop zone. Here are some combos that you can focus on. If you have Teethfall in the drop zone and you have this order, you activate it, call it, Soul Blast one, look at top 5 cards from your deck, then choose one, you can call one. It helps you build your board state for finish, which is nice. So your general combo on your turn will look something like this. Upon you riding a grade 3 Persona Ride or going to grade 3, call the Usurp. Use the order from the drop, Soul Blast one, kill one rear guard, then call 2 rear guards from the drop. Ideally, you'll call probably these 2, like a Harvest Elf and the Teethfall 2.0. Teethfall 2.0 will let you look at top 5, allows you to call 1 unit, so you'll call another unit. Let me zoom out more. Okay, there you go. And then your board state, let's just say it looks something like this. So first you'll attack with this unit here. That'll be 15k on top of the order, so it'll be 20k. So 20k poke, doesn't hit, hits, doesn't really matter. Then you can swing with this side here. Swing, this will be 15k if you use the skill on top of the order, so 28. So this is 20, 30k. At the end, retire it, draw a card. And you might be wondering, why didn't I do anything with this Harvest Elf? Well, because this is where it happens. Vanguard will attack, hit, then you do trigger check, let's say 1, 2, doesn't hit, hits, doesn't matter. Counterblast one, you have to sec 2 rear guards. Then you can Superior Ride into this guy. Upon Superior Riding into this guy, then you can call the Ursula from drop, call it on the board, and then you will use his skill upon ride, Soul Blast one, then call one of these from the drop to the Rigor Circle, which will set you up for a 6th attack turn. So then your Vanguard will attack, trigger check, 1, doesn't hit, hits, doesn't matter. Swing with this one, hits, doesn't matter. Then swing with this one. At this point, you want to kill it so you can keep calling this out. So you kill it, draw a card, then at the end of the turn, you rewrite into this one. And if you wanted to, because the rewrite does happen, you could technically bring back Ursula on board, so you can set it up for the next turn if you have another order in the drop zone. So yeah, your main finisher is Persona Ride, like every other deck. Have Philander for high numbers and do 6 attack turns. I think this deck's pretty good. If you don't Persona Ride though, I feel like you don't hit that high number. So if you don't hit that high number, then you need Philander on board to help you with it. If you don't, then in current meta, it's kind of hard. If they hit defensive trigger, you kind of shit out of luck. This deck also was one of the main issues that skyrocketed these 2 cards even more again. So there's that. In competitiveness, you want to go first. If you go first, you have a high advantage with this deck. Don't go second. Going second, yes, you can argue that you would get a drive check upon Superior Ride, but I feel like with going first, you have more pressure with a 6 attack turn. Let's see. Aside from that, I think the other things you could do is I'm running 2 of Usurp and then 4 of Philander. I've seen people run 3, which I feel like it's more consistent. But there are times in mid to late game where this is just a brick card. It doesn't do anything. It has no guard value. I mean, at best, it's like a PG fodder. So I think having 4 Philander is better because you do higher numbers and help you fish out the cards you need. Fun-wise, personally, I don't think it's fun. It's pretty generic and it's pretty, not generic, it's pretty linear and it gets old real quick. But if you're kind of desperate for wins for your locals or if you're taking it to regionals, I think this deck will perform pretty well in terms of most of the matchups. The matchups I think you might have hard time will be the other 2 top tier cards decks right now, which is Vigilla and Minerva. But personally, when I faced Vigilla with it, or even the other way around, I felt like it didn't have any much struggles because you will just stun lock out with the Teethfall 2.0, the Azor, which then gets rid of their guard value. And most of the times Vigilla has fake hand because it has a lot of grade 3s in the deck. And getting rid of the Azor from restanding or being able to intercept hurts that deck a lot. Minerva doesn't have to worry about it because she sends them to the soul, or she can always just replenish from the soul easily. So it's not really a good matchup. But aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.